All right, strap in, everyone. Today's deep dive, it's a little different.
Oh,
We're going into the world of video game builds,
okay.
specifically The Division 2
I
from a YouTube video.
Interesting.
Now, I know that might sound a little niche, but trust me on this one.
Okay.
It's actually really fascinating, even if you've, never even touched a controller.
Yeah, I can see that. What's
Yeah.
cool is even if you've, never played the Division 2, you get a glimpse into how gamers think.
Right.
It's all about strategy and optimization, problem solving, skills that apply to, well, anything really.
And the way this video presents it, it's like it's framed as a heist.
Oh, wow.
They pull inspiration from Money Heist. You
Okay.
got the Professor Lisbon's there giving intel,
Yeah.
and they even throw in Harry Stample from Armageddon.
Wow.
It's really clever, actually.
I bet. I mean, using a familiar story like that, it's going to make the information so much more memorable.
Exactly. It's not just some dry list of stats and gear. You're like invested in this virtual heist.
I can see that.
So picture this. You're on a solo mission into the Pentagon, which, by the way, is overrun by the Black Tusk faction.
Okay, high stakes already.
Yeah, and your objective to steal like super advanced weapons that they've been working on.
So this is where the strategy comes in.
Big time. The video stresses that this is like high risk, high reward,
Mm-hmm.
like 50% chance of survival.
Wow, so every choice matters.
Every single one. Which brings us to the build itself, and the focus here is maxing out your weapon damage, but you got to be able to take a hit too.
Got it.
So it all revolves around two gear sets.
Mm.
Virtuoso, which is like all about that constant damage output, like you're just laying down fire.
Right.
And then there's Legatus, which boosts your damage even more when you're near allies.
Okay.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting.
Oh, I see.
They use this very specific backpack, the Ninja Bike backpack. And this thing is a game changer because it unlocks a third attribute slot on your gear.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, so normally you only have two, right? So this opens up a whole new level of like customization.
So it's like you get an extra tool in your toolkit or something.
Exactly. You can fine-tune your character even more, make him even more effective in certain situations.
That's wild. Like, imagine being able to combine attributes that you couldn't normally, creating a character that's a total beast, but also super stealthy.
Yeah, that's the kind of like strategic depth we're talking about here with this backpack.
Wow. Okay. I see how that fits in.
So we've got the gear sets for damage. We've got the backpack for crazy customization. What about the weapons themselves?
Yeah, what are we packing?
So the weapon choices are just as strategic. The build uses the Eagle Bearer, which is an assault rifle known for like crazy high damage output.
Uh-huh.
And they pair that with the Lexingtons, a pistol that gives you that extra burst damage.
Oh, nice.
And both of these weapons, they have the preservation talent.
Hold on. Back up. What's preservation do?
Good question. So preservation, it gives you bonus armor every time you kill an enemy.
Oh, that's interesting.
And when you combine that with the build's focus on armor on kill, which means your gear is also giving you armor boosts when you take down enemies.
So the more aggressive you are, the tougher you get.
It's like this positive feedback loop, a snowball of damage and survivability.
That's really smart, especially for a build focused on offense.
And to push that damage even further, they highlight the Brazos Picaro holster, which adds another 15% weapon damage.
Wow, they really thought of everything.
Yeah, and to round it all out, there's the Striker drone for extra firepower and the Crusader shield for those, oh crap, moments when you need some cover.
I like it. But is that set in stone? Or could you switch those out?
That's what's cool. The video stresses that the skills are flexible.
Oh, okay.
So you can swap them depending on, how you like to play. More aggressive, more defensive. It's up to you.
So even within this super optimized build, there's room for personalization.
Exactly. It's not just a cookie cutter thing. It's more like a framework you can adapt to your style.
I like that. It's like even when there's a so-called best solution, the most effective approach is the one that fits you.
Right. That's a great observation. And it makes me think about something you said earlier about how even if you've never played the Division 2, there are lessons here. Can you talk more about that?
Absolutely. This video, it's not just about gaming, it's about optimization.
Okay.
Like whether you're fine-tuning a video game character or, I don't know, streamlining your work, the principles are the same.
Interesting.
It's about knowing your resources, your goals, and finding the most efficient way to get there.
So you're saying the strategic thinking that gamers develop, it can actually be applied to real life?
Absolutely. Think about it.
Okay.
In the Division 2, you're constantly assessing threats, planning, adapting to changes.
Oh, yeah.
Those are valuable skills anywhere, whether you're running a business, teaching, just navigating everyday life, really.
You know, you're right. I'm starting to see how this seemingly niche topic actually has some pretty broad implications.
Yeah.
It's not just about the game, it's about the art of problem solving itself. But before we get too philosophical here, I want to jump back into the specifics of this build.
Yeah, let's get back to the game. It's amazing how we went from a video game build to real-world problem solving.
It is, right. We were just getting into how the strategies in this Division 2 build could actually apply to other parts of life.
Yeah, and you know what? That Ninja Bike backpack, that's a perfect example.
How so?
Well, in the game, it gives you that extra attribute, right? It expands what your character can do.
Right, right.
But think about it in real life.
Okay.
It's like finding that unexpected resource or that connection that suddenly opens up all these new options.
I see what you mean.
Maybe it's a new skill you learn, or you meet a mentor, or even just a different way of looking at a problem, and boom, you can do things you never thought possible.
Yeah, like thinking outside the build. And it's not just about finding those resources, it's about combining them the right way, like how this build uses gear sets and talents to work together.
You got it. It's understanding how different things, they work together, how one little change can have a huge impact on the whole system.
Systems thinking.
That's it. Whether it's a video game character or managing a team at work, that kind of thinking is valuable.
So it's not just about having the right tools, it's about knowing how to use them.
Exactly.
And this leads to another thing they talk about in the video, that balance between going all out attack and being able to defend yourself.
It's a classic dilemma.
Yeah, this build is all about damage, but they didn't forget about staying alive, which I thought was interesting.
It is. They could have just stacked damage, but they use things like the preservation talent and that Crusader shield.
Right.
That shows a real understanding of risk and reward.
Hmm.
Sometimes playing it safe, even when you're strong, is the key to winning in the long run.
So even in a video game where you're supposed to be taking out enemies, there's a lesson about defense.
Absolutely. It's thinking ahead, not just about the next fight, but the whole game.
Okay, I'm seeing the connections here. We've got strategic thinking, resource management, understanding systems, even risk assessment.
And don't forget creativity. Remember how they said you could switch out those skills?
Yeah, they kept saying it was flexible.
That shows that even in a super optimized build, you could personalize it, make it your own.
It's not just one right answer then.
Exactly. No matter the problem, the best solution is usually the one that fits you best.
So being adaptable, being willing to try things, that's important.
Huge. Especially in a world that's always changing. And that makes me think about learning and always trying to improve.
Because in a video game, you're never really done, are you?
Nope. New challenges, new strategies, always ways to get better.
Like constantly learning.
The best players, they're always doing that.
Yeah.
It applies to anything you do, really.
It's that whole growth mindset idea, right?
Yeah. That's it. Never stop learning and growing. And this video really shows that. It's not just about a strong build. It's about inspiring people to think strategically and always look for ways to improve.
Wow, from a Division 2 build to growth mindset, who knew?
That's what's so cool about exploring. You never know where it'll take you.
Okay, we've covered a lot, but I feel like there's more.
Mhm.
What else did you notice about this build or how they presented it?
One thing that really struck me was the whole money heist theme.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
It wasn't just random. It was a smart way to make the information more engaging.
Right, it's a story, not just a data dump.
And that's a powerful lesson. Whether you're teaching, presenting, whatever, stories make a huge difference.
It makes things relatable, exciting even.
And this video does that really well. It could have been boring, technical, but they made it fun and informative.
I'm way more into this Division 2 build than I thought I'd be.
Right. It's like they gamified the learning.
That's a great way to put it. What if we could do that with other stuff, like school or work?
Imagine that. Learning as engaging as a video game.
Instead of lectures, you've got challenges, levels, rewards.
It's not that crazy, actually. We already see it in fitness apps, language learning, even some job training.
And with technology getting better, the possibilities are endless.
It's an exciting time. Imagine if we could make learning fun and effective for everyone using the power of games.
That is some serious food for thought.
It is.
Okay, we've talked about strategy, creativity, storytelling, even the future of learning. What else is there?
You know, we should take a moment to appreciate just how much work went into this build. The creator, Division Ninja, they really know this game inside and out.
Oh yeah, it wasn't just luck. They thought about every little detail.
It's like a masterclass in systems thinking. They figured out all the moving parts, how they connect, and fine-tuned everything for maximum performance.
And it's not just about raw power, is it?
No, there's a real elegance to it, a deep understanding of how things work together.
Like that line from the video description, the build has the most weapon damage than any other build in the game. Also, the build has a lot of survivability.
Yeah, that sums it up perfectly. Max damage, but you can take a hit. It's a tough balance, and they nailed it.
And they didn't just make it on paper, they tested it out, ran a mock heist in the video.
Which brings us back to that money heist theme.
Right. It pulls you in, makes you care about what happens.
They made learning into an adventure.
I'm so glad we did this deep dive. It's been way more insightful than I thought it would be.
Me too. It shows you there's so much more to gaming than people think.
Yeah, it's like a whole world of creativity and strategy.
And as technology changes, the lines between games and reality are blurring even more.
What with VR, AR, the metaverse? It's crazy to think about.
Who knows, maybe one day we'll be using video game strategies to solve real-world problems.
Wow. Like climate change or poverty?
That would be something. It shows the potential of games to do more than just entertain.
This has definitely been an eye-opener. I have a whole new respect for games and the people who make them.
Me too. You know, even though we've covered so much, there's one more thing about this build I think is worth talking about.
What's that?
Remember how they said the Striker drone and Crusader shield were the suggested skills, but you could pick others based on how you like to play?
Yeah, they emphasize that a lot.
That's actually a really big deal because it shows the importance of being adaptable.
Okay, how so?
Well, it means even the best solution might not be the best for everyone. What works for one person might not work for another.
That's true. We often get caught up in finding the right way to do things.
Exactly. And that's important in everything. Your job, relationships, personal growth. It all applies.
So being willing to experiment, find what works for you, even if it's not the normal way.
Exactly. And that's a perfect transition to the last part of our deep dive.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
We've talked about the how, the strategies, and all that, but now we need to talk about the why.
The why. I like it. Let's do it. All right, we dove deep into the how of this Division 2 build. The strategy, the gear, the optimization. But yeah, let's talk about the why.
Why put in all that effort?
Right.
Especially in video game.
Exactly. It's a question that goes beyond games, though.
It does. What makes us want to master anything? Music, sports, even a complicated spreadsheet.
That'd be more than just the end result, right?
Yeah. It's that feeling when you solve a tough puzzle. The aha moment, the satisfaction.
Yeah, I get that.
With this build, it's like they're pushing the limits of what the game can do.
They're not just playing it, they're almost like...
Collaborating with it.
That's it, collaborating with the game to do something really unique.
And it's expressing themselves, too, you know. The choices they make, how they combine things, it reflects their style, their thinking.
So it's not just skill, it's like an art.
It is. It's their signature on the game.
And then sharing it online, like this Division Ninja did,
Yeah.
That's contributing to the whole community.
Absolutely. It's like saying, here's what I did, what I learned, now you go make something awesome.
Like a mentor, almost.
Yeah, passing on the knowledge. Shows you how much collaboration there is in gaming.
You know, I always thought of gaming as like a solo thing.
There's a huge social side to it. People sharing their passion, helping each other out.
That's what makes it so interesting, though.
It is. It's not just you and the game, it's connecting with others who get it.
Like working on a team project.
Exactly. Everyone brings their skills, and you make something amazing together. That community, striving for mastery, that's a big part of why these builds exist.
It's more than just personal achievement. It's like you're part of something bigger.
Yeah. Leaving your mark, inspiring others.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, even if you don't play games yourself.
I totally agree. This whole conversation has shown me there's so much more to gaming than I realized.
It's not just entertainment. It's creative. It's problem solving, social, even self-discovery.
Like, we found this hidden world.
A world of passion and strategy where virtual stuff leads to real insights.
And with all the new technology, VR, AR, the metaverse...
It's just going to get bigger.
It's crazy to think where games are headed. Maybe one day we'll use these strategies to solve real problems like climate change.
Wow, that would be amazing. Using the power of games to make the world better.
This has been a real eye-opener. I have a new appreciation for games and the people who make them.
Me too. We've covered a lot. But if there's one thing I want people to take away from this,
What would it be?
never underestimate the power of play. Whatever gets you curious, challenges you, go for it. You never know what you'll learn.
Well said. Time to power down our controllers and get back to reality.
Yeah. Italy the main, 5 cigars, pull up like a shade.